Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you are welcome. My name is Anita Fon, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every time I upload a new tutorial to my channel. If you're a old member, you are welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to cut a mom skirt with tail behind. So if you want to know how I'll be going about it, keep on watching. First thing I did was to go ahead, fold my fabric right side facing each other and make sure that what I folded is half of my hip plus 4 or 5 inch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll go ahead to draw a straight line, which is going to be my guideline as well my waist line. After drawing my straight line, I will go ahead, I will measure from my waist to my hip deep, which is 10 inch. I want this to be a little bit high waist. Normally, I was supposed to minus 2 inch from there, but because I want it to be a high waist, I will not be minus 2 inch from there, all right? I will mark from the waist to the hip deep, which is 8 inch, from the waist to my knee line, which is 20 inch. Then I'll go ahead and connect it up with a straight line. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to I will take round my waist, which is 28. 28 divided by 4 is going to give me 7 inch. I will mark it up, that up here. Then I'll be adding 1.5 inch to it. I will not be using up a dot here at the front. I'll be adding 1.5 inch to it for my sewing allowance. Then if in case you want to use a dot, you take your nipple to nipple. For example, mine is 8 inch, 8 divided by 2. You're going to mark that up. But in my own case, I'm not going to be using that. I'll come here on my hip deep line. I'll take round my hip and divide it by 4. I will take round my hip, which is 37 divided by 4 is going to give me 9.025. I'm going to mark that up. Then I'm going to be adding up my sewing allowance for it. I'm adding 1.5 inch. If you're not going to be using lining, you can go ahead and just add just 1 inch instead of 1.5 inch. Me, I use 1.5 inch because I'll be using it to turn the skirt, okay, with the lining, all right? I'll go ahead to connect that up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll come on my knee line. I'll be going up by 2 inch. Why? Because you want to be able to walk freely. You know, this skirt is really a fitting skirt onto your knee line. So you go up on your knee line by 2 inch. Then you're going to go ahead and connect it up with a straight line. From there, you are going to go ahead and measure up whatever you have on your hip deep line minus 2 inch. Or you take round your hip minus 4 inch, then you divide it by 4. Whatever you have, you're going to place it up here on the knee line. But a simple way for you to do is just to measure 1/4 of your hip, then you minus 2 inch from there. That's what I am actually doing now. Minus 2 inch from there, whatever you have, you mark it up here at the nail line. The next thing we're going to do now is to go ahead and connect it up with this line up like this. Like you can see me doing here, just follow it up and connect that up. So you're going to go ahead and blend it because you don't want it to be sharp here. And the next thing we're going to do now is to pull it up to the top part so you can be able to see what we are doing at the down part. After pulling that up, I went ahead to mark the length of my skirt. Next thing I'm going to do is to measure up whatever I have on my hip line. I'm going to mark it up here, which was 11 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead, I'll be adding 4 or 5 extra inch depending on how open you want it to be at the downer part. You can add 4, 5 or 6 even. All right, so I'm going to add 6 inch. I'm going to just mark that up. After marking that up, the next thing I will do now is to go ahead. I'll be connecting it all the way to the knee line. After connecting that all the way to the nail line, I want to come here at the downer part here. I'm going to go up by 2 inch. That's because I don't want it to be sharp at the downer part. I'm going to connect that up. After connecting that up, we'll go ahead now to cut it up. After cutting that up, I'll come here at the waistline. I'm going to go down by 1 inch, but because I'll be needing ½ inch to join the waist to the band, I'll just go down by ½ inch. Then I'll go ahead and cut that up. After cutting that up, we'll still go ahead now to fold again our fabric right side facing each other. Then we'll place the front piece on top. But this time around, we'll make sure that we leave about 10 inch of allowance. Okay. We'll come here. I'll be increasing it up by 1.5 inch. That's on the waist. Then I'll move to the hip dip line. I'm going to mark the hip dip line so you will not get confused. And also mark the knee line. The knee line there, and I'm going to mark here as well. Then I'll come on my hip line. I'm going to go out by 2 inch, and then on the knee line I will go out by 1 inch. Then I'll go ahead and connect that up. I'm moving now to the downer part of the skirt. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I will start by drawing a straight line, which is the length of the front piece. And then now what you want to do is we're going to just go ahead and connect the back. But because we want the back to be longer than the front, this is how I'm going to be connecting it first, okay? I'll take up my my ruler. I'm going to place it from that's the knee line all the way to this end right there, okay? You will connect that up. I'm connecting it from this line. Therefore, if you want something like this, if you want it to be straight behind, you just go ahead and connect it up like, but I don't want it to be straight behind, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it all the way to this end. I will reconnect it again like this, like you can see me doing right there. I'm sorry, the camera is not really getting this other part, but you see what I'm referring to at the end. The next thing I'm going to do is I will come to this downer part. What I'm going to do is I'll be connecting this all the way to that end where I mark. Now what I'm trying to do is I want to connect it up. You can use your free hand, you can use your French curve ruler and just go ahead. I'm going to connect it all the way to this end like this. If you really want it to be really open behind, you'll be leaving about 10 or 15 inch depending on what you really want to achieve at the back piece. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead. I'll be cutting that up. Just follow it up and cut it up and making sure nothing is being sharp around there. I'll go ahead and cut that up all the way to the top part. After cutting, I'll be done with this tutorial. I already have a small tutorial where I demonstrated on how to cut and sew this skirt. So I hope you find it helpful. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and share. I hope to see you on my next video. Bye.